Good morning, everyone, and welcome. There we go. Welcome to the Moose Minute Project on a Tuesday morning. Beautiful clear skies in southern Wisconsin. The sun's going to be up, and it's a crisp temperature this morning, but it is doing well. It is definitely fall arriving. The colors are starting to change here, and so we're looking forward to the weekend. We have family photos this weekend, so haven't done them for a while, and we have a granddaughter, two granddaughters and a grandson to be involved, so that's going to be crazy. Yeah, life is definitely moving along. So welcome to the Moose Minute Project, and if your mouth or lips are moving, your ears are closed. So, and that also goes for if they are moving inside your head. So if you are thinking about responses while somebody is talking, you are not listening. You are not listening to what people have to say, and it is more and more evident every day. Well, that kind of rhymes. So, my question to you is, when somebody is making a point to you, do you automatically start to think about what you're going to respond and say? And if they mention a certain topic right off the bat, do you automatically start to think, oh boy, here I go, I got to reply? Then you are not listening. Things are not going in here, just out here. And that, my friends, is not good. If you automatically start to think about responses, or you're automatically getting pissed off because of what is being talked about, you are not listening. Hence, then, we cannot have a normal conversation. So how do we go about doing that? How do we go about listening? Well, it's going to take some practice, because right now we are all trained that we have to reply. And lately, it seems we have to reply in a negative tone in order to flex our muscles in our political stance, our friendship, whatever it may be, or our knowledge, because heaven forbid we get talking and people think we are uneducated or we are not very smart. And we, as people, do not do well with that. We don't do well with thinking that, oh, maybe somebody knows more than we do. Well, I will tell you what. Yes, I have a college degree. Yes, I graduated from high school. And still, there are tons of people way smarter than me that don't have any of those things, and they are smart. They can fix anything, they can do anything, and they all can contribute in some form to society and discussions on how we can make people's lives better. So how do we do that? How do we make people's lives better? We start by listening. We start by having a roundtable discussion or a discussion about what people are going through and what they're suffering with. And I'm not talking about right and left here. This has not anything to do with it. This has to do with purely sitting down and listening to what people are going through. And personally, what can help them? And how to respond in a way that shows that we are caring and that we did listen. One of the big things in sales, one of the huge things as a salesperson that is a mistake made many times over every day, is that we do not listen to the person that is talking. We, as salespeople, want to push whatever, there is reasons that there is money on vehicles that are sitting on the lot for an old days, or ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, whatever it may be. And if you're a plumber, whatever, you may have, or a heating HVAC guy, you may have stuff that's in your inventory that's been there a long time. So your bosses have said, hey, guess what? Time to move some things. Well, when that customer is talking to you and they're telling you their needs, as a salesperson, you start thinking in your head that, oh, I can push them this way or that way, and you stop listening to what their needs are. To make sure people are completely satisfied and are 100% happy with everyone, as a salesperson or as a human being in general, we need to hear that person out. So we need to hear their struggles. We need to hear what's going on without engaging the responses. Without engaging, well, this is what I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to say. No. In order to have a fluid conversation, you should be able to rely on what your knowledges are and everything else in the past to have a conversation. Oh, so you're telling me that you are struggling because of the price of groceries. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. Well, here's what I'm seeing too. As far as that goes, I see that the transportation money and everything else is costing more. So that's, oh yeah, that makes sense. Instead of blaming things that are going on, we are not having a conversation. It's kind of like if you're talking to somebody at a coffee table that you've never met before, and all of a sudden you hear they're a police officer, or were a police officer, or that they were automatically those things start kicking in your negative thoughts, or maybe you had great experiences. But most people that are vocal lately are the ones that are bashing people for the problems. So all of a sudden they go, oh, well, I heard about these guys that beat this guy up that was innocent and what. Yeah, we know. Police officers know this shit happens too. We all know that there are some corrupt ones. Yes, we get it. But there are also corrupt human beings just in general. But I don't automatically sitting talking to you go, oh, you're one of those jerks. We need to start talking about it and finding out who the person is, not just because they have a badge on or had a badge on or that they were involved. Who are they as a person? Were they that good officer? Were they the good politician? Were they, and yes, I know everybody feels the same way. There are no good politicians. I strongly disagree with that. There has been some great ones. The problem with us is we have a bad system, and it's a conglomerate of things to make it say that things are bad. So engage your response and engage your mental talk. Disengage it while somebody is talking. And then write notes down. Take notes. That's the best way. If you're having a conversation or a roundtable meeting or a team discussion, if you're having, especially in the sales world, if we had sales meetings and nobody showed up with a pen and paper, you could pretty much guarantee nothing is going to change. It's kind of like when they said we were going to have debates where you couldn't have notes. With everything going on in the world, I couldn't imagine not having notes to debate with people. And I'm not talking about the president. I'm just saying if I go to, like, say, a county board meeting, I personally will be bringing a pen and paper to write things down because A, I'll never remember everything that was talked about, and B, I want to be able to reflect back on points that I wrote down. Oh, I should talk about or ask this. Kind of goes with the same way with talking with people in general. If we don't start making notes and the best way to do it if you're just talking in person is say, hey, oh, so you mentioned this. Yeah. And then talk about it. But don't interrupt while they're talking about it. Listen to their point. Because all you're getting then is you're interjecting them and you're trying to overpower them with your stuff. Let's be educated about it. Let's be professional about it. We're all old enough to know better. Anybody listen to my channel, I'm going to guess, is probably 30 and older, if not older, because I'm 50. So I know there's a lot of people that watch it that are older than me. And some are younger than me. And I like that the college kids that I've seen on here are watching as well, because I know who their parents are and I know how they're being raised. And I'm not asking for everyone to agree with me. I'm just trying to help with what I'm seeing in the general facility of this world. And that is, if I don't like you or what you're saying, I'm going to call you a piece of crap, and I'm going to tell you what you say is full of shit. That's it. I'm going to sit on my couch and type that in the response. And if I don't like you, I'm going to try to overpower you and flex my muscle to make you feel bad, to make you feel wrong, to make you feel stupid. Because that seems to be becoming more and more these days. With the electronic age, we can all sit in our chairs or in our truck and blast people on the internet and write reviews of your company or whatever it may be, whether they're founded or not, you know. And if you're going to do that, by the way, you better use examples. Don't just put a 1-star rating on somebody's business with nothing, because that is the lowest form of shit show, and it shows what a true human being you are. If you're going to give somebody a 1-star rating, you better have, if it's a restaurant, you better have a waitress's name, you better have why, what you order, and what you're really complaining about. But also in the same aspect, if you do those reviews, you better be doing the reviews that say, hey, 5-star, here's what I did, you guys knocked it out of the yard, thank you very much. So if you're going to do the negative stuff, you better be doing the positive stuff too. And that is where I struggle with a lot of this. We can sit and bash all we want, and it gets us nowhere. End of the month, and in less than a month. So we're going to have more and more of this appearing. And yes, some people will unfollow me. That's okay. I'm okay with it. That's not why I'm doing this page. I started this page just as what I'm doing. To clear my head, to honor my mom in memory of her who spoke her mind, and she was very vocal about it. And I am not trying to upset anyone with my page. I'm not. I just want to see people's eyes and open their, and see if it's what I'm saying is actually helping. And I appreciate everybody that watches. And like I said, I have seen more and more disrespect lately because I feel the internet. Back in the day in high school, in the 90s, back when my brothers were in school in the 70s, if somebody wanted to say something, they usually had it to say it to your face, and then it usually ended up going hand to hand, fist to fist, or, the ever popular note being passed around in school. I think that has a lot to do with why our views and why our younger generations are voicing their opinion, is because they can do it online, and there's really no, and if you look at most of these people's profiles, no jobs listed, no education listed, no nothing listed. It's just a name and, maybe a fake address. I think there's a lot more of that going on instead of going nose to nose. I remember my days in Minnesota riding around with police officers there, and probably some of the nastiest conditions we've ever rode around. And some of those guys listen to my channel, and I appreciate that. And I respect them highly, because they went nose to nose a lot of times in not a lot of good environments, and they were not well respected, no matter what they did. And it gets tiring after a while. I'm sure that it's the same way now with the cops today. And unfortunately, the younger generations that are coming up, I don't think have the thickest skin as the guys did that I hung out with. I think the younger, because of the internet and things like that, the kids didn't have to go through a lot of what these older generation, Gen X, whatever it may be, that we had to have thick skin. In high school, you developed it as you were name called, you were, de-pantsed, whatever it was, the books. So I feel we need to get back to opening these, closing these, shutting this down while people are talking, and try to come to an agreement and try to talk about it. I may not agree with everything you say, but if I agree with 30 or 40%, can we work on that together to make things better. I think that's where we're struggling now, even in government wise. But where business wise, as a manager, that's where, as an owner, working for someone, I noticed was the biggest problem. Is, hey, come to me with any of your problems, but make sure you bring solutions. Okay, so bring the problem, bring the solution. Yeah, no, I'm not going to implement. That's too much work to implement. Or I don't want to piss people off. Well, then don't ask me for my opinion if you're not going to at least take into account some of it. Because pretty soon people are going to go, screw it, he ain't going to do anything anyway. So the environment stays the same for 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 15 years. And you wonder why people leave and why you have the ever-elusive cycle of people leaving and going. You may be lucky enough to live in a society or in a town or wherever that jobs are scarce, but that is gone away. There are way too many jobs available now to not start to concern about or treat those that work for you with respect by opening these, shutting these, opening this enough to say, hey, how are you doing today? That's what I love about Jacob here at work. It's how are you doing every day? And he's ready for an honest answer. There's days that I tell him, hey, life sucks. Life is kicking me in the balls. And he goes, hey, let's talk about it. What can we work through it? And he's younger than me, but he has 4 kids. So his life is way more sporadic and hectic than mine. Roxanne and I have 3 dogs. That's enough too. But, so let's work on that. And I'm just asking you to do it personally. I don't know if you will or not. I mean, I don't know. But if you have a business or you're working for people or you're a manager or just in general, if you go down to the local restaurant for coffee in the morning, open these, close your mouth, close your verbal comments in your head, and just talk. That's what I love about the port here in town. It's a small little gas station just out in the port. And there are probably 10 farmers that meet there every morning for coffee. And there is no politics talked. They were talking about how dry the corn was or how moist there is or the weather or fishing or hunting. That stuff is we need more of. Just the general conversations, not involving all of the political garbage that makes everybody engage this and this to be negative. Let's open up our ears and let's just take time to really listen to people. So that's where I'm at. I stopped in yesterday. I'm at a restaurant bar there that in Richland Center. I love the place. Good barbecue, by the way, TKO. And just got to talk to a few people and it was funny. It was just a good time. Yeah. Nothing discussed except for, things in general. Let's have more of that and less degrading people, less calling them stupid, less calling people dumbasses for whatever side they're on. We all know that probably isn't going to change, okay? You're not going to convince them all of a sudden to jump fence. It's not probably going to happen. And quite honestly, after November's election, my life personally probably isn't going to change. And if it does, I have to live with it. I don't really have a choice. I have one vote and one vote only. So what else does it matter? Is it worth throwing relationships away? Is it worth degrading people to then go, wow, I really like that guy, but I just learned something. He's a real asshole. So does that take that into consideration as well? So I thank you for tuning in this morning to the Moose Minute Project and listening to me ramble. That's what I do. It's just stuff that comes to my mind, and life is too difficult right now, and it's not guaranteed that we will see tomorrow. As we've lost siblings, we've lost family members. We know tomorrow is not guaranteed. So enjoy the day, take it to the next height, and see what you can do to make somebody's life better. And as always, like I say, take time to bless somebody today. And I will talk to you tomorrow morning on another edition of the Moose Minute Project.